What is time? Time is a system of events which happens one after the next. Time consists of the past, the present, and the future, in this exact order. Everything that happens over time cannot be reversed or redo. Time is a way to measure change. Take a seed, for example. We plant a seed in the past. In the present, it is growing. And in the future, it will be a flower. Time is very important in our daily lives because we always plan everything around time. We brush our teeth in the morning and plan breakfast, lunch, and dinner around certain times too. So how do we measure and tell time? Let's have a quick history of what we humans have been using to tell time. There are many devices that are used to measure time. In ancient times, the sun was the most common time measurement device. How? People will use the path of the sun as a way of telling the time of the day. The sun always rises at a certain time and sets at a certain time. When the sun rises, it is considered morning. When the sun is between rising and setting, it is the middle of the day. When the sun sets and the moon rises, it is evening. Another form of ancient time measurement device is the sundial. The sundial has two main parts, the gnomon and the dial. The gnomon is the part of the sundial that creates a shadow on the dial. As the sun moves across the sky, the gnomon causes a shadow to appear on the markings of the dial. The position of the shadow shows what time it is. As humans progressed, hourglasses became popular. An hourglass is a two-bulb-shaped object that is connected in the middle by a narrow path. The narrow path allows for the passage of the sand. Only one side is filled with sand. Time can be measured when all the sand completely travels from one bulb to the next. The bigger the hourglass, the more time it can measure. Today, the most common type of measurement device is clocks. The clock moves in a clockwise direction. This means that the time increases as it moves right. The slowest and the shortest hand on the clock counts the hours. The longer hand counts the minutes. Nowadays, clocks can be found in different forms. They can be found in watches, built into our phones, or on our nightstands as alarm clocks. Clocks are all around us. There are two types of clocks, analog and digital. Analog clocks refers to the style of clocks in which it uses the hand and numbers in order to tell time. It is usually in the form of a circle. Here are some analog clock examples. Digital clocks displays the time in a certain format. The first number is always the hour, the second is always the minutes. Many people prefer digital clocks nowadays because they are easier to read than analog watches. Here are some digital clock examples. Now let's talk about the units of time. The first is hours. There are 24 hours in a single day. The second unit of time is the minutes. There are a total of 60 minutes in 1 hour. The third unit of time is seconds. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. This is the smallest unit of the three and represents the shortest amount of time. Reading the time. Do you know how to read the time? On an analog clock, the slowest and shortest hand on the clock counts the hours. The longer hand counts the minutes. When the short hand is on a number and the longer hand is at a 12, it means the hour has just started. For example, take this image. The hour hand is on 6 and the minute hand is on 12, which means it is 6 o'clock. Reading the minute hand. As you recall, an hour is made out of 60 minutes. We can use the markings on the clock to read the minutes as well. When the minute hand is at the number 3 on the clock, it means that 15 minutes have passed. When the minute hand is at number 6 on the clock, it means that 30 minutes have passed. When the minute hand is on number 9 on the clock, it means that 45 minutes have passed. When the minute hand is at the number 12 on the clock, it means that 60 minutes have passed and the hour is complete, and the new one is about to start. Do you want to calculate time? What if you want to know the hours in the form of minutes or seconds? Let's learn that real quick right now. Let's start with converting hours into minutes. We already know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. We can use this information to convert hours into minutes. Convert hours into minutes, we just multiply it by 60 minutes. Let's convert 3 hours into minutes as an example. Let's do another. What about 1.5 hours? We can then further convert the minutes into seconds by multiplying it by 60 seconds since 1 minute has 60 seconds. Let's convert 3 hours into minutes as an example. If you want to convert hours to seconds, you multiply the hours by 3600. Why 3600? Because an hour has 3600 seconds. For example, do you know that different planets have different length of days? A day is determined by how long the planet can rotate along its axis. For example, Earth takes 24 hours to rotate along its axis. So a day on Earth is 24 hours, but on Venus a day lasts for 116 days and 18 hours. Venus has the longest day out of all the planets of the solar system. A month on Earth is about 30 days. It revolves around the Moon. It takes 30 days or 720 hours for the Moon to complete its rotation around the Earth. So when a month has passed for us, it means that the Moon has completed its rotation around the Earth. What about a year? A year depends on how long a planet takes to finish its rotation around the Sun. On Earth, there are 12 months in 1 year. A year has 365 days. Enough about space. Let's talk more about Earth. Did you know that different places on Earth have different times? People who live in Toronto, Canada have a different time than people living in Tokyo, Japan. We live in different time zones. Since Earth is so big and round, the Sun can't cover all of the Earth at the same time. The sun will rise first in Japan, then in other places around the world. It will be early morning in Japan and evening in Canada. A time zone is a large area on Earth where everyone living in that area follows the same time. There are 24 time zones around the Earth. Each of them has unique names such as the North American Eastern Time Zone and the Pacific Standard Time Zone. The Eastern Time Zone consists of cities such as New York City and Toronto. The Pacific Time Zone consists of cities such as Vancouver and Los Angeles. Like what you've learned? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more future content.